Hey guys, I got a new video for Passive Exile 3.22. So this is going to be an update to the Transcendence Armor resistance stacker on the Scion. Sort of what kind of gear I changed around, some kind of talent tree changes and all that kind of stuff. And I think before we do the video, just to make things a little bit interesting, I was farming the X-Arc quite a bit and we got 2 of these keys. So let's try to go and get a shiny Omniscience, or I think that's the only good one you can get from here. So maybe out of 2 keys we will get something. Okay, we got Dawnbreaker. Maybe if this is a good roll, we can go double corrupt it. And do the other one. Probably end up getting the boots. Or like a staff or something. Oh, okay. So, wow, you can actually get Forbidden Flame Jewels from here. What is this? Let's see. Pious Path. They're like 1 divine. Okay, well, you know, it's foiled. Might be a little bit of money. Alright, so let's kind of get into some of the changes for the build. Let's see. Okay, so I have made quite a few changes to the tree. And let's go over some of the major changes to the build. So on the top side of the tree, nothing really has changed, except I've added, you know, another cold res tattoo over here. Currently, let's look at some of the stats. Actually, better to look at this in POB. So, first of all, we are at 92 million hit DPS on the Ball Lightning Strike projectiles, and I have sort of changed my config around. Wait, this has to actually change over to the melee hit. Okay, so I've changed the config around a bit, and what did I change? Well, I don't have the Ball Lightning Strike included in the full DPS, because I guess it's not really all that fair, I guess, because this build I'm not doing simulacrums, or I'm not really doing content where the Ball Lightning Strike is up all the time, so I think it was a little bit better to have it set without the Vol. I also have gotten rid of Vol Haste. I'm actually not even running Vol Haste in my build because I don't really think I need it. I was never even pushing the button, so I just got a level 21/20 Divergent Haste. So there's no Vol Haste in the build. As for the other config, we're still running the projectiles deal 40% more damage because of the return projectiles support we're using. And everything else in the config is pretty much the same. We have Taunted, just, you know, 10% shock. I have gotten up to like, you know, 25-30% shock, you know, against some mobs, but against like uber bosses, usually it's between 5 to 10%. So we're going to keep it at 10. I guess sometimes I have gotten higher, like 15, so, you know, so I'll just put it in the middle at a 10% shock. Seems kind of fair. We have Lightning Exposure from the Awakened Lightning Penetration Gem. We have Intimidated, Taunted. These are from the Scion Ascendancy. Okay, so that's kind of enough for the config stuff. So you can see we did get a bit more armor. We're at 5.1, almost 5.2 million armor, so pretty nice. So resistance is 79. I was running, before I did this kind of tattoo setup, I was running down here to get these +2 here, and I was at 80 all res. So now we're at 79 all res, pretty close to getting up to 80, which is we're going to need Awakened Lighten 5. So I'll have to corrupt some of those. And aside from that, the tree hasn't really changed. I have gone up here to pick up the extra gem slot I needed for the Warrior's Tail. So one of the main things I did here is, first of all, this Warrior's Tail setup, you know, it's kind of in a nice spot. This does give quite a lot of increased aura effect. And actually, you know, I guess you do get the +2 cold res. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this set up is if you look at our aura effect mod, we're at times 3.6. And times 3.6 is pretty big for damage scaling. So if we lose just one of these, we go down 1 cold res. We do lose quite a bit of damage as well. So getting just to that 3.6 R effect is giving us 1 extra cold res. So it didn't, and actually quite a lot of damage. You can see we lost 2 million damage just from that 1 tattoo over there. So it is pretty nice in scaling our first of all, the cold res, right? So we get more cold res, one extra cold res, and quite a lot of damage. So I ended up going with the slot over here, and I do have a tree going on the right hand side. We'll go over that a little bit too, but I did want to try going to the right, but then I would have to actually scour this point blank tattoo, and considering that it's so like extremely annoying to actually get these, I probably won't ever scour this. You know, it's kind of like a real life tattoo. You can't get rid of it, you know. I guess you do, unless you do like laser surgery, something like that. But anyways, I had upgraded quite a lot of my jewels. A lot of these are all 35% increased effect with, you know, some cold res. I still have to do the two passive ones. We got a nice one here. We have some here, you know, strength. I needed strength to get some more tattoos, and that's about it. Okay, so that's kind of it for the passive tree. Let's go over the gems. So the gems are kind of the same. You know, I was thinking of getting a level 6 awakened multi-strike, but you can see it is a complete bait because nothing really changes on the DPS, right? So we're still at level 5. And let's see. Okay, everything else here is basically the same. Defiance banner as well. Just getting one level isn't going to give me any damage. So if I had this in a helmet that gave +2, then getting a level 21 would actually be giving some more damage. A little bit, you know, like barely any. So I haven't really even upgraded this. I think getting a +3 quality corruption might actually be a little bit better. It's like 500k more DPS, so I don't know. Or actually not 200k, so not really that impactful. So we changed out the haste. We have a 2120 divergent haste for that extra projectile speed. Purity Vice the same. Precision to all these kind of same. Got a 2120 Phantasmal Ancestral Protector. It was a lot cheaper than I thought. It was only like 5 divines. I got a 2122 Divergent Determination. So it was kind of sad. If we had the 23, actually it doesn't even give damage. We had 23. Okay, never mind. So 2120 Divergent Determination. I did switch out the Purity of Elements. Before I was using the Anomalous Purity of Elements for the aura effect. I think it was actually a little bit cheaper too when I bought it. So, but now going on to the Divergent one, because with Ashes of the Stars, this is giving us quite a lot of what do you call it? Elemental pen. So that's really nice for damage. Right. So okay, and everything here is the same on the Grace Link. So that's kind of the gems. And going forward, let's check out the gear. So these are the same. I did make a new helmet. I have a video on how I crafted this helmet. I do kind of need to redo the Grasping Mail or yeah, buy another one. So I made some gloves too. I actually have a video on how I made these as well. Boots are the same. Ashes of the Stars same. I did do a few reforge defense on my ring and got a nice roll on energy shield, so I'm just keeping this for now. So that's some nice rarity, so you know I'm gonna get some more unique items, or yeah, it's probably not that impactful. It's not kind of like a dead stat at this point. I did try doing some double corrupts on the Mage Blood, but yeah, nothing really happened. So there's that. Flasks are all the same, so everything else here is the same, I guess, for gear. Now, moving forward, what would I want to be doing? Well, I do want to get rid of this point here, so in order to do that, I'm going to need to get the Awakened Enlightened level 5, and you see that's going to actually give me a little bit of breathing room on mana, and then I'll have to get some 35% increased effect 2 passive clusters, so 3 of those. And then I should have enough mana to keep casting my Mark on Hit gem, which is going to be about 5 or 6 mana with the not Divergent, the Anomalous Mark on Hit. Oh, that would be pretty nice for kind of like end game, you know, the last end game passive point that we can get. That's going to put us up to 80 all res, right? So that's going to be pretty nice if we do get that. So that's one thing I'm trying to work on right now. Alright, so aside from that, build is pretty much functioning the same. I've been doing, you know, some uber boss farming, starting to do a little bit of delve, you know, see if we can get some, you know, pretty decent depth. So far, pretty happy with how the build has turned out. Been able to basically farm whatever I want without like worrying about dying and all that kind of stuff. So that's gonna kind of be it, I guess, for this video. We can try to run one of these invitations at the end so you can kind of see what it's like against the Syrian Exarch. So there is actually one pretty dangerous attack he has that is very hard for this build to tank, and it's like the multiple fireball projectile things he launches. And I'm not really sure. I should look up what damage type it's doing, but with Molten Shell up and a Ruby Flask, we can kind of like barely tank it. And once the Molten Shell falls off, then he actually can kill us. With this attack, this is on Uber, by the way, guys. So let's see. Yeah, it's on Uber. And let's just see what happens, right? So I'm not sure. Maybe it was actually doing physical damage. I'm not really sure. We gotta put the mark up because we are using the. Oh yeah, so here, hopefully we don't die. Oh, alright. So I guess with Molten Shell up and not a lot of mods, it's fine. Maybe it's different because we had the flask up as well. But yeah, okay. So it's coffee break time. All right. So any minute now. He really likes to do multiple ball phases when I try to farm him for some reason. Alright, yeah, so we got another coffee break. I guess just kind of wait for these to finish. And yeah, so before I was using the Ruby Flask, that multiple like projectile hit kind of thing was actually giving me quite a lot of problems. But with the Ruby Flask, Molten Shell, yeah, okay. So, I guess maybe with the Flask up, and then with the... Oh wait, yeah, Molten Shell, yeah, let's see. Alright, there we go. So that's his big blast. Piece of cake. Okay, we don't have Molten Shell up. So you can see, without Molten Shell, and without getting our ES on hit, we just don't have the sustain to actually keep taking all of those hits. Let's see what the difference would be with the Flask and Molten Shell up. Oh, we kill him. Oops. Okay, well, anyways, I think we did tank that multiple ball hit earlier on in the fight anyway, so you can see, you know, you can tank quite a lot of things, but there are going to be a few attacks that you might have to kind of change your flask up a bit, maybe. You know, like in this case I'm using the Ruby Flask for the reduced fire damage. I think just this build doesn't have enough recovery to take that many hits that are, you know, at the same time. But with the Molten Shell and the Flask up, I think I should check if that damage is doing physical damage, because that would really explain why I'm taking so much damage. If it was doing some kind of fizz damage, then yeah, it definitely makes sense. So, but with the Flask up, with Molten Shell up, you can see we can kind of stand there and tank the hits. All right, so anyways, to anyone making this build, good luck. It's definitely been like the build of the league for me. Man, terrible roll. Anyways, we'll keep this video nice and short and end it here. I'll have the POBs in the build video description and in the Armor Stacking Compendium. You can check out the latest POBs over there. And, oh, right, so right as we're ending the video, we didn't actually go over the left side, but I did actually make this right side. Actually, I made two of them, right? So what is this tree, right? So this is going on the right side, right? And we're picking up, instead of point blank, picking up unwavering stance. So like, due to the cost of these keystones, I think, you know, if you end up hitting unwavering stance before point blank, you might just be better off going over here and doing this. The resistances are a bit lower. Well, that's because we're not actually doing that tattoo setup, which you could probably do here. but you wouldn't be able to get the frenzy. So this one gets frenzy and culling strike. You can see here. This, you don't really need to take this. You can go for more max res if you want. Like you can grab the Imbalanced Guard, and then you can get Prismatic Skin and Soul of Steel. So that's +3 res, and you also get some armor. So you could do that for another +3, and then you'd be at 80 all res, right? So you can kind of choose, and then you'd have 1 extra point, right? So you could actually even get another +1 max cold res somewhere, potentially, right? Like you could just go down here and pick this up, or somewhere, right? So there is some things you can do. You can go even probably get to 81 all res on this version too. So this side of the tree definitely will work if you don't say hit point blank. Instead of point blank, you end up hitting Unwavering Stance. Well, then you can just use this tree, and this tree might be a little bit more feel better because you get Precise Technique instead of Elemental Overload, so it's always up basically. And then I did try this other weird tree with Warrior's Tail. So this is at 80 all res, just kind of forget about this here. And it's coming down here to get like a lot of these like +2 cold res, +2 cold res, +2 cold res, a lot of aura effect. That's pretty much it. And the compromise is that, well, we have to get Iron Reflexes tattoo somewhere. So you see this is Iron Reflexes, and we don't get stun immunity, so we have to get stun immunity on the flask. I don't really think this tree is actually better than the other one. I think the other one we just looked at is the better option to go on if you're going on the left side. Mainly because you lose that flask suffix that can go to all res. But it's kind of an interesting idea, you know? Maybe you guys can get some ideas from this. Some other crazy things. But, oh yeah, and this one also does lose a introspection. Just, yeah, so. Anyways, so that's going to be it for the video, guys. This is the actual end. See you next time. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.